Alright guys, what is going on? Happy Wednesday night. This is the Club of the Man 1993 and we are here for my review of this past week's episode of Monday Night Raw, the February 13th edition of Raw that took place at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. This was the go-home show for Elimination Chamber 2023 that takes place this coming Saturday, February 18, 2023 in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Home of the challenger for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, Sami Zayn. And we all know the crowd's going to be hot for Sami. We all know the whole conspiracy, well not conspiracy, but the whole rumors issue that people want Sami Zayn to win. Yeah, it's going to be one of those nights for sure. But we will talk about that later on tonight as I'll be going live to talk about my Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. As far as the go-home show goes, it was solid. It felt like a show where it's like it dotted the I's and crossed its T's. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it did its job at a solid level. It was a solid show. The only thing I think I didn't really like is what they did with the main event. I mean, on paper, it's a good match, but I wasn't a fan of what they did. Because after what they teased last week, to now do what they did this week, it was like, what? Like, I didn't get it. I did not quite get it. But other than that, everything else was like solid to passable. Nothing was really horrible. It was just not a show that lit the world on fire, but it did its job. It got me intrigued, got me excited, got me looking forward to Elimination Chamber. Again, I question a few things still, but nothing that I'm just like, oh, this is horrible. Something like, okay, this is good, but could be better maybe? You know, like one of those shows. So let's fly through this because I did hear my fiance just got home. I know we want to take the dog out for a walk. So I want to fly through this pretty quickly here. So the show opened up, and again, we are at the Barclays Center in Montreal, not in Quebec. The Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, which again, I've been to before several times. So we had, the show opened up with Adam Pearce in the ring, and Becky Lynch came out. She welcomed us to Raw, said she's dressed all spiffy for us, and brought Adam Pearce. As good as it felt to beat Bayley in the steel cage last week, and a big shout out to Lita for her help, she lost sight of her road to WrestleMania and the Women's Championship. And that's a good question. What's Becky going to do for WrestleMania now? Because, you know, she's not in the chamber. Charlotte has Rhea Ripley. And looks like Ronda is going to be sticking with Shayna Baszler and fight for the tag titles. So I guess this is where I say I'm assuming Becky and Ronda is off, which sucks. But I kind of would rather see Ronda kind of, you know, get something going again before they do Becky and Ronda. That match one-on-one still needs to happen. SummerSlam this year, maybe? I don't know. But, so basically, she's trying to find her way to WrestleMania. So she wants to know, she wants to find some way to have a chance to get her way into the Elimination Chamber and make it a 7-person chamber match. We've had that happen one time in 2018, I think it was, whenever, 2018, whenever Seth Rollins and Finn Balor both got inserted into it. But then Bayley comes out, calling Becky an idiot, saying she didn't finish anything last week since Lita had to finish things. But then Bayley wants to get into the steel cage match, and they basically want to try to find a way to, you know, earn their way in. Bianca Belair comes out. Basically, she's just like, I think, they both deserve the best because she wants to face the best at WrestleMania. So she pitches the idea about if you want to get the chamber, you got to go through me. So why don't you fight me one-on-one in a triple threat match tonight? And if any of you win, you get added to the chamber, which I'm thinking, okay, first we're either going to be having one or the other, like either Becky or Bayley pin the other, or someone's going to pin Bianca, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like, they teased the match with Lita being involved somehow last week. Now Lita's nowhere to be found. And I thought about this after, because there's rumors that there was supposed to be a 6-woman tag match with Becky, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control at Elimination Chamber, which is why they had Lita coming last week. But I heard those plans are canceled, or I heard Trish is still coming, but it was a little confusing. I'm like, okay, then what was the point of that? Because if you're going to try to drag the story with Becky and Bayley to Mania, now it's starting to drag. Now it's starting to feel a little too long. So, because even when actually to be honest, I fell asleep during the main event, so I didn't get the world to watch the main event, but Bianca won, but I heard nothing really happened. So this all was kind of pointless. Like, I thought that was probably the lowest point it showed me. I just thought this was all pointless. So, that was the main event, basically what happened there. So, yeah, this was a little bit of a waste of time. So I don't know where they're going to go now. Again, it had Lita showing up last week being a little bit pointless, too. And again, as I keep saying, too, the problem, too, is Damage Control right now is not a dominating unit. They've had their moments where, okay, they look good, but next week they're going to look horrible again. So, I'm not really invested in a 6-woman tag match. Because to me, it feels like, I hate to compare this, but it feels like whenever Bayley and Sasha did nothing in 2018 but fight the Riot Squad. Remember how many times they fought? That's what it's starting to feel like for anybody who teams up against Damage Control. Because you know they're going to win. They're going to lose. So, yeah, this is the lowest point in the show for me. This stuff they did with Bayley, Becky, and Bianca. I don't get why they did this triple threat match. To me, it was kind of like a triple threat pay-per-view championship match. Not like a non-title match where if one of the challengers win, they get added to the chamber. It felt like a waste. But so that happens there. Then we have Byron Saxton trying to interview the Judgment Day. Of course, Damian Priest asks the 5 other men in the chamber are ready to be in the cage with him. Dom, of course, uses his prison expertise to judge that Priest will win the match. Plus, he got off the phone with Mommy, who's excited for Chamber as she is for Valentine's Day. And apparently, I didn't get to watch it yet. They may show it on SmackDown on Friday, or I could just watch it myself. But apparently, Dominic and Rhea crashed Rey Mysterio's Valentine's Day dinner. I gotta see that. I love these like holiday behind the scene videos with Dominic and crashing on like Rey's holiday and whatnot. It's funny. Entertaining too. Judgment Day then defeated the Street Profits in a solid match with the coup de grace from Finn Balor onto Angelo Dawkins. Afterwards, though, Edge and Beth Phoenix come out, and Edge takes out the Judgment Day. Beth Phoenix then goes to take out Dominic with a spear, but then out of nowhere, we were told that she was out promoting WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley appears and clobbers her and hits the Riptide. So Rhea Ripley gets the upper hand. Again, we'll talk about this match in my preview. I still think they should have done Edge and Beth versus Rhea and Dominic. Because yes, I get it. You want to do, I'll save that for my chamber predictions. I don't want to, talk about it here and give that away. But I still think that they should have done Edge and Beth versus Rhea and Dom at Chamber. Because they're probably going to be doing Edge and Finn Balor at WrestleMania. But we will see. We will see. See here. Brock Lesnar then comes out for the contract signing with Bobby Lashley. He already signs it. He wants Bobby to get his ass out here and sign it. Bobby's music hit. And Bobby sends out security. He brings out a table. And he's saying he wants this all to be on his terms. He's tired of this being always on Brock's terms. But keep this in mind, when they met face to face, he pinned him at Rumble last year. He left him unconscious at Crown Jewel. and he eliminated him from the Rumble this year. So he's in the driver's seat now. And then Lesnar accuses Bobby of being scared. The crowd's chanting, "Bobby's scared," which, again, I do not get. I don't get it all. I mean, again, I'm intrigued by, predictions for my chamber predictions. I still don't get why. It just still feels like they're forcing heel heat on Bobby Lashley. And I can't hate him, really, because, again, one, I want to see him beat Brock, and two, Brock instigated this whole entire thing. So, I mean, yeah, it was a nice brawl, beatdown. I'm sure the match is going to be great on Saturday. Hopefully it's not the last time they fight, because it may not be a match. Again, I'll talk about that in my predictions. But again, I don't get it. I do not get why this feud, even though, everything Bobby Lashley has dealt with, from Seth Rollins costing him his U.S. title, to Brock Lesnar, coming in and targeting him. Bobby has not instigated any of these fights he's had. I don't get it all why they're trying to make him out to be the heel. And I still don't get why fans are booing him, but cheering Brock. Okay, don't get me wrong. Brock is killing it in this country boy character, whatever he's doing. But again, I just don't get why they're forcing this heel heat on Lashley. But after Bobby takes out Brock, he signs a contract and drops it on Brock's fallen body. Piper Niven beat Mia Yim in a match, was basically dominating in the match. She won with a black hole slam, which she's calling it the Loch Ness Slam. Okay. Nice win there for Piper. We also got a recap. We got a recap from the Usos' successful title defense on SmackDown, and then Jay refuses to confirm whether he's in or out. This then leads to a backstage segment where Baron Corbin is talking about having JBL, ditch him. But before he even gets started talking, we cut back to the ring. And it's looking like they're trying to set up a shot and like someone's on the fly. And there's someone in the ring with a black hoodie on. We didn't hear anybody talking at first, but it reminded me of when Seth Rollins crashed TakeOver San Antonio and show's called TakeOver, right? When he called out Triple H at NXT TakeOver San Antonio to set up for their match for WrestleMania 33, which was awesome. And it was Sami Zayn. He crashed the ring. He crashed Monday Night Raw saying he's not here to hold up the show, but he has something to say, and someone to say it to. He's not sure he's going to have the chance Saturday after Chamber, so if you'll indulge, he calls out Cody Rhodes. And, when he does that, I'm like, oh yes, because again, I just love how, again, they're addressing the elephant in the room. They're not ignoring the crowd. They are not kissing our asses or having, the story, try to, kill us from wanting to see Sammy win. They're encouraging us to believe Sammy's going to win while having the big elephant in the room, Cody Rhodes, addressed as well to protect him as well from, getting, the horse shit dumped on him, for him being the one that's still probably going to defeat Roman Reigns at Mania. But again, we'll talk about that in my predictions. But anyways, this promo was awesome. Cody comes out, welcomes Sammy to Raw, and asks you what you want to talk about, which again is seeming to be his way of starting his promos. And then Sammy says one moment has been playing in his mind over and over. And that is the fact that Cody mentioned the idea of them wrestling at WrestleMania last week in his promo with Paul Heyman. So he came all this way to look him dead in the eye, and he says he wants to hear it face to face, man to man. Was it just lip service, or does Cody actually believe Sammy can beat Roman? And Cody's like, yes, I'm dedicated to winning the title, and that means he doesn't have a lot of energy to BS him. And when he says that Sammy would beat Roman and will most likely be his opponent at WrestleMania, he believed it. Respectfully, though, Cody doesn't think this is what this is about. It doesn't matter what he believes. Sammy, what do you believe? And Sammy goes, honest truth? I don't know. Cody hasn't been in the trenches with the bloodline like he has. He knows deeply that they always find a way. The thing about Roman being God mode, he for real is in God mode. He's seen it. He's seen big guys bigger and stronger, and Roman, full of conviction, every single one has gone down. So he's nothing like those guys. How is he supposed to believe that after all this time, almost 900 days, of all people but him being the one, he believes he's capable of beating Roman, becoming champion, but does he actually think he's going to be walking out Montreal as champion? He doesn't know. Cody says it seems like everybody here knows everybody's, getting behind Sammy, and he knows everybody in Montreal knows. He hasn't watched Roman up close, but he's watched him from when he won the title till now. And there's dissension in the bloodline for the first time ever. Cracks in the armor. And all that is because of Sammy. You want to say Roman's on God mode? Print it and put it on a t-shirt. But Roman, like Sammy, is a man. And Sammy can crack him open that chamber to prove it. Cody says, I have a storyline to finish. Sammy, you need to finish yours. One thing though is for sure though. He told Sammy, I don't want to see you on Raw next Monday. He'd rather see him at WrestleMania. Excellent. Again, just Triple H knew he had a problem. And without hurting Cody, without hurting Sammy, he had, yes, some people would say keep these two as far away from each other, but having Cody endorse him, not be that character that comes out I don't think you can do this either or whatnot. Because again, if you want to make Cody Rhodes the face of the company, which honestly, he should be the face of the company right now. I got the Roman. He is, ready to be the guy to beat Roman. But, you gotta protect yourself. You don't want to make Cody Rhodes be the next Roman Reigns or be the next John Cena, where they're the polarized figure. You had to do this here to protect Cody and still give him a good reputation, a good reason for people to get behind him. And this whole build they've done, and again, I love that they've had Cody Rhodes be able to show how great he is in promos in this build so far. But again, since Sami Zayn's become a babyface yet again, for the first time in 5 years, I still can't believe they had Sami Zayn be a heel for 5 years, where Sami is meant to be in this role. A purebred underdog babyface that, has the great story to have his doubts, to put him, everything on the line, and, have the feel of, okay, he either gets, it's either all or nothing, and he always sets it up great. And again, just to have these promos to remind us, not just how good Sami's in the ring, but on that microphone. Again, we went 5 years of seeing Sami Zayn get, thrown in the dumpsters, have horrible comedy segments, basically be just a laughing puppet for Vince McMahon. To see him get back and again, as Kevin Owens said a few months ago, be reminded, Sami Zayn's one of the best wrestlers in the world. It's just such a great thing to hear. Great thing to see. And again, I have a lot of faith this match is going to capitalize on Saturday. I'm still sticking with my gun saying Roman's retaining, but again, we'll talk about it again in the Chamber preview later on tonight. But we have that. That was definitely the moment of the night. We have Carmella backstage with Nikki Cross, rolling and giggling about playing hide and seek with her new friend. Carmella wants to know where their other teammates are. Our teammate is, and sure enough, it is Asuka. Asuka rolls up, causing her to storm off because of how weird she is. And then Candice LeRae rolls up and asks Nikki, why have you been following me? But Nikki just laughs creepily and just walks away. But after that, though, we had Baron Corbin, basically, and as I was saying, because he got interrupted by that Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn segment, he basically is saying what happened last week, he's better off without JBL. And his bad advice and his stupid cowboy hat. He's a has-been, his pastime, and remind people who Baron Corbin is. He's tired of disrespect, like how his interviews get interrupted by Sami Zayn. But he also reminds us that, he should be the one in Sami Zayn Cody Rhodes' spot, because he's the last person to pin Roman Reigns, which is true, even though he got massive help back at TLC 2019 in that forgettable TLC match. Of course, he got blindsided at the Rumble, so that's the only reason he didn't win. If he was still in there, of course, he would have won and gone to WrestleMania and dethroned Roman. And then he starts talking trash on Cody, who nursed a minor injury for 8 months and got handed the number 30 spot to be in the Rumble. And he says how Cody's a joke, his brother's a joke, and his dad's a joke, and he thinks his dog is a joke. But what he didn't know was Cody was in the background, and then in a freaking suit, Cody Rhodes just started beating the shit out of Baron Corbin through the hall, into Gorilla, begging for a referee to come out. And then, of course, he had to take off the top part. Cody Rhodes basically squashed Baron Corbin in a suit. He squashed Baron Corbin in a suit. And again, he squashed him when Cody Rhodes, who any of his matches, he hasn't had many, of course, singles matches. Most of his matches, he's had to use 2 or 3 crossroads to win. He only had to use 1 crossroads on Baron Corbin. And I'm hearing the rumors that they're completely giving up on Baron Corbin. And again, it sucks because I don't blame them because none of these gimmicks work. But at this point, if you actually want to do something with Baron Corbin, make him relevant. Either go back to the Lone Wolf gimmick, or I think it makes more sense, go back to Bum-Ass Corbin. Bum-Ass Corbin is so simple. It's literally right there on a silver platter. Yes, it would be a low-card storyline for now, but it's something that at least could get something going in him. Because, dear God, again, I was a big Baron Corbin supporter when he got called up and when he got drafted to SmackDown in 2016. The moment he lost that briefcase in 2017, all downhill since. And every gimmick he's had has just been atrocious. It's not working. So rather than giving up on him completely, go back to when things were working for him. The Lone Wolf or Bum-Ass Corbin. To me, I think Bum-Ass Corbin's the right way to go. You gotta do Bum-Ass Corbin. If not, you might as well just let him go. If you've given up on him that you can't even give Bum-Ass Corbin, which is being set up perfectly right now, then you might as well just let him go. So we have that. We also have a random 6-woman tag match between the 6 women who are in the chamber. Raw's Asuka, Carmella, and Nikki Cross teamed up against SmackDown's Liv Morgan, Natalya, and Raquel Rodriguez. Only part I remember about this match was whenever Asuka just decided to say screw it and just basically beat the crap out of everybody, including her own teammates. And she gets the victory with the Rings of Saturn onto Liv Morgan, which looked vicious. Asuka, I think, is easily running away with this chamber win on Saturday. I don't see anybody else winning. I don't see anybody else beating Asuka. I don't. And right now, you don't want her to lose. You don't want her to lose because right now she's repackaged. She's dominating in her new look and whatnot. I don't even you want her to lose. So I think she should be winning on Saturday. This is a low card storyline that seems to be brewing that I'm actually intrigued in. It's actually making me care a little bit, just a little bit, about the Maximum Male models. And it's because of one person. So Otis is backstage eating a hot dog. But then Chad Gable's like, no, they're bad for you. And he throws it away. But when he goes to throw it, standing right there is Mansoor. Or Mansoor. And of course, he's all pissed off that happened. But then Maxine Dupree shows up and is taken by Otis and asks him if he's given a thought about modeling. But then he goes to answer, but Chad answers him and he thinks that she was talking to him. But she shoots him down and gives Otis a business card. And she also said we could see Otis. And Otis like the looks on his face whenever the same like looks of happiness when he was like hitting it off with Mandy Rose when him and Mandy had a storyline 3 years ago. I can't believe it was 3 years ago for that storyline. I actually am intrigued by this. Like it again with Otis. It's been a long time since Otis has shown some personality. Like they teased little bits the past few months, but when Otis is showing personality, he's got my attention so easily. And this idea of him now being a model, I'm actually interested. It actually gives me a reason to be a little intrigued with the Maximum Male models. I mean, I don't know if this means that they're going to split up Alpha Academy, because unless they do this thing where it's like, Otis is, Gable's still there and whatnot, but Otis is, I don't know, like kind of like part of both groups or stuff. I don't know, but this could be interesting. Like I said, it's going to bring out the personality in Otis again, which again is what he needs. Like Heavy Machinery Otis was funny, was entertaining. Again, he's been good at Alpha Academy, but if you really want to make him from like a B- to like an A, give him his personality back. And of course, him eating the hot dog and like getting all intrigued, and Maxine calling him Otis. I'm like, I'm digging this. So I'm excited about that. Bronson Reed basically squashes Mustafa Ali. And I think Ali, of course, is still going after Dolph Ziggler, and they're going to have a match next week. But of course, we'll see how Bronson Reed does inside the chamber. I wonder what's going to happen with him in the chamber. We'll talk about it again, of course, when we get to the chamber preview. We have Miz TV with Seth Rollins, who comes out in these silly red big boots and some goofy looking leopard shirt because he dressed up weirdly, just like his wife sometimes. But anyways, Miz is like, what the hell's up with these boots? And Seth's like, it's called style. Miz wouldn't know a thing about it. But Miz wants to talk about Logan Paul. But Seth's like, nope. He's a dumpster fire that nobody wants to hear about, and encourages the crowd to sing his theme more. And of course, pressed to stay on topic, Rollins says his mama told him not to say anything at all if he doesn't have anything nice to say. Then Miz keeps basically pressing Seth to say it, but then of course, Seth then shoots and is like, shut up, Mike! He doesn't want to talk about Logan Paul because of WrestleMania. All he ever wanted was to headline the show, and that dream matters to him, even though he did have one of the biggest WrestleMania moments, cashing in the main event. It matters to Miz and to every person in this arena because we love this. But Logan Paul doesn't give a damn about that dream. He's selfish, soulless, and only cares about lining up his own pockets. And Rollins won't say his name because he doesn't deserve it. All Logan wants is attention, but what he needs is to have his teeth kicked in. Miz then calls Seth jealous, and Seth says he knows Mike is stupid, but he's not that stupid, and Brooklyn agrees. Miz shouts at them, reminds Seth that he's headline Mania and Rollins may never. So Rollins snaps and starts beating him down. Austin Theory comes in out of nowhere and yanks him out before Seth then takes him out again. So again, this is more so of a setup for Seth Rollins and Logan Paul at Mania. Like I said, it wasn't for him being sued recently. I care more, but I do not care. Anyways, we have Elias chatting with Rick Boogs backstage. Elias says he doesn't want the pressure of being compared to him to stress out Boogs, and Boogs thanks him. Elias wishes him luck and says maybe they can collaborate one day. And Rick says he was born and bred to rip and shred, and he's going to shred The Miz tonight. And then he basically squashes The Miz. Chelsea Green then complains to Adam Pearce and demands to be treated like a star, and she wants a redo and a spot for the chamber. Pierce refuses to put her in a three-way tonight, so she says she'll have to stay here until she gets in the match. And if he touches her, she'll scream. She feels very threatened right now, but Adam just walks away. And then Judgment Day have a promo claiming that they always have the upper hand and thinks that Edge and Beth like getting beat a little too much. Dom then says the thing about them and his pathetic dad is, and they were all good ones, but the game has just passed them by. And then Damian Priest talks up the future victories. Rhea says her rise to the top starts this weekend when she and Finn beat the crap out of the Grit couple. And then we had that main event again with Becky, Bianca, and Bayley that I fell asleep through. That was pretty pointless. And Bianca won. That is Raw. Again, like I said, other than that stuff with the main event, and with Becky, Bayley, and Bianca, it was a solid show. Like I said, it didn't our only thing that was very mind blowing to me again was that Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn segment. Everything else it did its job. It was passable. I liked it, so I gave the show a B-. Raw gets a B-. Again, I will be uploading this immediately after I stop recording this, and I will be going live in a little bit to do my Elimination Chamber 2023 preview and predictions. And just a reminder again, I still have a AEW Dynamite and SmackDown review to do beforehand, but the Elimination Chamber review, which will be at some point this weekend, hopefully, will be where I debut my new intro. So we will see that very soon, guys. Very, very soon. So, guys, that's my thoughts on Raw this past week. I gave it a B-. What are your guys' thoughts on Raw as well? Did you also enjoy the Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn segment the most? What did you like about Raw? What didn't you like about Raw? Make sure you leave that down in the comments section below. And be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content coming to my channel. And follow me on Twitter at @theclubwiththeman93. Be sure as always also to shout for me sub. And follow me on TikTok at @theclubwiththeman1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. I'll see you guys soon for my Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night, guys. Peace out, everybody.
No